Citigroup executives were expected to come under intense scrutiny from shareholders today who wanted to hear more about the company's recent stumbles, including the failed stress test and allegations of fraud at its Mexican banking unit. But as Kayla Tausche reports from St. Louis, the meeting turned out better than expected.
Citigroup's investors are clustered in the Northeast, but this year the bank said, "Meet us in St. Louis." The meeting, 1,000 miles away from Wall Street and not telecast for a wider audience, was criticized as avoiding questions about recent turmoil at the giant global bank. Like the 2 instances of fraud in Mexico that cost Citi upwards of $400 million, or the high-profile failing grade the Fed gave Citi on its plan to buy back $6.4 billion in stock and raise the dividend for the first time post-crisis. Despite those hits to its reputation, attendees in the Show Me state showed CEO Mike Corbat and Chairman Mike O'Neill some support. In votes tallied Tuesday, investors re-elected the entire board, approved auditor KPMG, even as the Fed found oversight in auditing practices, and most notably, approved Corbat's 2013 pay, something shareholders rejected 2 years ago when Citi under Vikram Pandit failed the stress test. But Corbat, nearly 2 years into his turnaround at Citi, has earned some more time.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and Citigroup's not going to revamp in a year, but I think over 3 or 4 years, this company will improve.
Patience is a virtue that most shareholders in St. Louis seem to have, even amid recent disappointments. Just ask former employee John Gallo.
The current management really looks like to be a solid team. Now, unfortunately, it hasn't yet, I don't think, manifested itself in the stock price. That's been pretty static.
Gallo is among the hordes of individual investors with Citigroup in his or her portfolio. It's one of the most widely held stocks in American mutual funds and 401ks. Even Reverend Jesse Jackson owns shares through his foundation, the Rainbow Push Coalition, which holds stock in 200 private sector companies. He says Citi's restructuring, while good for the bottom line, comes at the expense of jobs and growth on Main Street.
We want to see the shares go up, but the community go up. In many ways, it's more profitable to invest in the communities, whether rural or urban, than to leave them lying fallow.
Corbat said Citi would keep cutting jobs and lines of business it deems unprofitable, but as long as the bank can keep posting profits like those it saw in the first quarter, management will keep getting a vote of confidence. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Kayla Tausche in St. Louis.